First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ranjit and his entire team for organizing such a important conferences and CMEs, which not only bring a new knowledge to all of us, all participants, but also add value to the criminal justice system in India. The topic, when Ranjit asked me, select any topic, I was little bit confused because for last 5 years, I am in administration at that too at the state level. So finding time for these activities is a very difficult task. Although recent changes which I noticed as a forensic medicine expert, as a president of Indian Academy of Forensic Medicine, and need in India regarding related to crime scene investigation, I decided to deliver a short talk on recent advances in crime scene investigation in India, and time allotted half an hour. I will try to restrict to my time. So first we have to understand the scope of crime scene investigation. What is the meaning? Everything with recent advancement in crime scene investigation, whether it is a type of crime scene, whether primary or secondary crime scene, processing of crime scene, in any case, crime scene reconstruction, very important nowadays due to complexity of the crime committed by the criminals, various evidences and its legal implication. This is very important from medical legal point of view. We are collecting evidence, but are they as per the requirement of the law, or they admissible in a court of law? Until unless they are not admissible, the outcome in terms of conviction is not attainable. That is why this part is very important. Different kinds of cases encountered by all the experts or audience in this conference. Criminal investigation techniques. Is there any advancement, any innovation? Is that available? If not, when it will be available to make a criminal justice system more optimally utilized? Different blood stain pattern and their analysis, including nowadays use of artificial intelligence. Collection of these evidence, preservation and packaging of different evidence as per maintaining the chain of custody, very important. Whether death is homicidal or suicidal, investigation again depends upon first step, that is crime scene investigation itself. And finally, in courtroom presentation through prosecution, whatever has been collected in investigation. In this regard, the most relevant document which I found from international document, that is Minnesota Protocol 2016. The work has been started in 1986 in the form of this was led by Minnesota Lawyers International Human Rights Committee 1986, which given certain recommendation, and that was previously limited to investigation of potentially unlawful deaths, especially in custodial deaths, which was ultimately finalized in 1991 as Minnesota Protocol of UN Manual Effective Prevention of Extra-Legal, Arbitrary and Summary Execution. And finally, in 2016, updated version at the international was published, available free of cost on the website. May I request all should go through this if you want to understand regarding by basics of crime scene investigation. This Minnesota Protocol is a comprehensive shared platform for forensic investigators, pathologists, forensic experts, human rights lawyers. This protocol provides a common standard in performance of an effective investigation of potentially unlawful deaths or forced disappearances, and a shared set of principles and guidelines for states, institutions, and individuals who are involved in crime scene investigation or any form of investigation. In my presentation, I will try to touch something about the criminal justice system for any country if their citizens, especially common citizens, they are having faith in security of their own self and whatever material wealth they have accumulated, that country obviously grow economically. And this was realized recent past by the Indian government, and they are trying to improve the criminal justice system, which is crime mainly comprising of police system, prosecution system, and investigators, including forensic science and forensic medicine experts. And the trust on this criminal justice system depends on the outcome of the trial, and that is in the form of conviction rate. If it is done by those who are arrested and tried by the court. Forensic technologies and expertise available for this improving outcome in the form of conviction rate. Recently, Government of India tried to make changes in majority of law, especially Indian Penal Code, Indian Evidence Act, Criminal Procedure Code, which are dealing with the not only investigation but the whole criminal justice system. So 3 bills have been introduced in recently held parliamentary session, and they were referred to the standing committee for the further comments and updation, modification, and time slot given is 3 months. And still there is a lot of debate on political circles on this impact. Initially, it was envisioned that those crimes where punishment is more than 6 years, this crime scene investigation is mandatory. Now it is enhanced to 7 years or more than 7 years. So this is another important thing where you have to visit this scene of crime. Forensic team members. Here there is a problem. In India, especially, I am discussing about the Indian scenario. Who should be the team member? Who should be the leaders? Who should take initiative? What is the role of those team member? How they should coordinate or integrate with each other? These are the challenges which still we have to address in such scientific forums. Scientific evidence, meaning and its admissibility in the court of law or as a legally admissible evidence. There is a need for collaboration between the central government and the state government, since we are federal government, and there are certain things which are under the control of the state government and certain things are under control of the central government at the national level. So there are 3 types of list you have just brief idea about. Union list, in which those issues of legal importance, they have been dealt by the union government. Similarly, there is a state list, and law and order is unfortunately or fortunately is the part of the state list. So there the state has to make law and implement them. And there is another concurrent list where both can make law, and whenever there is a conflict between state and union law, it is always the union law which should prevail. Here investigation is under the concurrent list. So these are the legal issues which we have to understand. There is a need for 3-pronged approach as per the government directive. There is a need for reform in the police investigation, where crime scene investigation is the first step after FIR. There is a need for reforms in the prosecution, Directorate of Prosecution, their independency. Similarly, Directorate of Forensics. Here, forensics includes forensic medicine and toxicology, which is usually missing or interpreted. Now, I'm posing a question to you. Why crime scene investigation suddenly becomes important in Indian scenario? I have given brief background, and that is due to central government initiative by the central government. Recently, there is a push from the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, to mandatorily use forensic techniques for all crimes where punishment is more than 6 years. This was in 2022 statement, which is now revised to 7 years or more than 7 years in 2023. All the 3 bills they have mentioned about it. In order to increase the rate of conviction, so the ultimate objective is to increase the conviction, not only to deliver the justice timely. Forensic technique must be integrated in the investigation to increase the conviction rate and overall the trust of the public in the criminal justice system. So the visit of the forensic team, this whole team, not only forensic expert or forensic scientist or the police, the whole team is called forensic team, made mandatory, as already discussed, after with the chances of either acquittal if it is a fake case or conviction obviously increase. Recently, in this month, I'm talking about only August 2023, an international CME was organized on the crime scene investigation itself. So it shows the importance of the topic. So these are some of the documents which shows this relevance of this topic. And on 24th itself, a national level hands-on workshop on application of Minnesota Protocol 2016 in crime scene investigation also organized 2 days earlier. So this is the initiative of the Honorable Home Minister, Sri Amit Shah ji, who make a statement in the press after meeting with all the stakeholders that forensic investigation is mandatory for all crime, with crime over 6 years in jail or imprisonment initially, which is enhanced to 7 years now. Forensic probe to be made mandatory for offences. The Narendra Modi government is working towards making forensic investigation mandatory in all cases of punishment where punishment is more than 6 years. This was the statement in 2022. So through how this is achieved? This is achieved through changes in concerned laws. The government is planning to make forensic investigation compulsory in all cases. According to this, Ministry of Home Affairs and Home Minister Sri Amit Shah ji, there is a need for independence of Directorate of Prosecution, Directorate of Forensic Science. Here again, forensic medicine usually missing because it is part of forensic science, and forensic science and Directorate, they comes under that Ministry of Home Affairs, while the forensic medicine comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Affairs, Government of India or Health Department. Here there is need for integration. So all these three basic law, Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, and Indian Evidence Act, now under the process of change through bill, which are introduced now to the standing committee. When they passed in both houses, get the assent of the President of India, they become the act, and they have to be enforced by the all of us, including forensic science team, forensic scientists as well as forensic medicine experts. So we should have fair idea about these recent advances. And government ultimately want collaboration between the central government as well as between the state government, and working on the three-pronged approach, that is reform in police investigation, prosecution, and forensics. It is the right time to focus on technology-based investigation and evidence-based investigation to achieve the targeted conviction rate, which is pegged at 90%, which is an ambitious target. Very difficult to achieve if we all are not working in collaboration, integration, and with scientific temper. It was informed that members that the central government is providing funds to strengthen the forensic infrastructure across the country. So there is a need for resources in terms of money, which is government is committed to provide to strengthen not only the infrastructure, but also setting up mobile forensic science units in each district, and these units will serve at least 3 blocks in a district. So every district comprises of many blocks at the district level, or we call block level. So each district is provided these forensic science mobile units, which can reach at the scene of crime or site of the crime along with the team member. Government also emphasized about the standardized forensic equipment. That means they should be of world-class standard. Their calibration timely so that they are working. Their credibility cannot be lost. Their report is reliable. And not only this, but the need for standard operating procedure in all forensic science laboratories, including Central Forensic Science Laboratory as well as state forensic science laboratories. So ultimately, high quality forensic results. Until unless this is not achieved, conviction rate cannot be achieved as set target of 90%. So there is a need for the enhancement in the technology and evidence-based investigation. So who were the stakeholders in this whole exercise in India? All the member of parliament, Minister of State for Home, Nityanand Rai ji, Ajay Kumar Mishra, Nishint Pramanik, Union Home Secretary Ajay Balla ji, senior officials of Ministry of Home Affairs, National Crime Record Bureau, because they are doing a lot of research and publishing report every year in the form of National Crime Record Bureau report. So their inputs are very important. Similarly, National Forensic Science University at Ahmedabad, which is the only university recently established, is still in the infancy stage, where role is very important. Forensic, they reviewed the forensic science capabilities available so that targeted focus of 90% conviction can be achieved with the existing infrastructure and manpower, or there is need for something more. The increasing dependence of the criminal justice system on the forensic investigation. How much the system is dependent on forensic investigation. Since the UP is the largest state of the India, recently, while interacting with the recently established UP Forensic Science Institute in UP, Honorable Chief Minister, they interacted and given their vision to all the students. And what was his vision statement? UP CM Yogi interacts with the student of Forensic Science Institute, and he said, ahead of criminals. So that means when you be ahead of the criminal, that means you have to update. You have to be keep updated with the recent advances in the technology as well as the training part also. So this intent behind setting of this institute, as per the Chief Minister, to understand the nature of the crime. This is very important. Without understanding the nature of crime, you cannot give desired investigation and collect the evidence which are needed in particular that case. What are the changes happened over the time? So recent update is very important. And accordingly, to prepare oneself for the mandate of the government and to fulfill the aspiration of the common man of India if we want to become Vishwaguru in the current universal scenario. Recently, these two incidences, he especially mentioned Jamatra of Jharkhand and Mewat in Haryana, where these criminal or so-called criminal, they engage the whole energy in the negative direction and resorted to crime. And that poses challenges to the investigation team, how to arrest those criminals, because they use the technology, a number of criminals for so many, and we are limited resources in terms of manpower and prisons. We cannot hold everybody behind the bar. When we inform government, the Chief Minister's statement, when they formed government in 2007, cyber crime was another important area. So these are some of the issues which is important to be mentioned. From crime scene point of view, the three things are important. The crime scene itself, whether primary or secondary, perpetrated accused who has committed the crime, and whoever the survivor or the who has lost their life, that is victim. Here, the much known that Locard principle of exchange taken into account, and where whenever two things come into contact, they exchange something with each other. And that is the whole gimmick of crime scene investigation, or so-called investigation. And that is why understanding the nature of crime is very important, and accordingly, not only reaching the crime scene at the earliest, but the protecting the crime scene so that there should not be any adulteration, manipulation, or degradation of evidence at the crime scene, and protecting that, collecting that as per the maintaining the chain of evidence, and hand it over to the concerned person and timely report at the forensic science laboratory is the need of the hour. We have to find answer to this question related to crime scene investigation, recent advancement. What is the aim of crime scene investigation or examination or visit of the crime scene investigation? We have to find answer to this question. Who should conduct crime scene in examination or investigation? Another important question. Who should means not only the team, but who should lead that team? Here is the main problem. Due to pseudo ego among the team members, whether it is a police personnel, whether it is a forensic medicine expert, or whether it is a forensic science expert or forensic scientist, there is a ego tussle, and that is why there is no proper coordination and integration, and ultimately important evidence are lost, not collected as per the protocol, and ultimately benefit of doubt given to the accused, and conviction rate again brought down. So what is the meaning and scope of the documentation of crime scene investigation? We have to understand from legal point of view. What do you mean by chain of custody standard? Is there any standard? If they are they on paper? If they are on paper, are we maintaining that as per the record? Because during that cross-examination in trial, opposite side may ask that to credit or discredit that evidence. Who are the witnesses during armed conflict situations? These are the situations where international wars committed or situation arises. Maybe during the say for example in Manipur, there are allegations that some foreign intruders coming inside. So in that situation, usually local team does not participate in the investigation, and it is the international team comes for the investigation. And in that, different witnesses which are non-forensic experts, they are coming into picture. If they are not trained proper, they have not informed the forensic team, there are chances important evidence may be lost. So how the credibility of such documentation is increased from legal point of view, we have to understand who are the crime scene investigation. We have to find answer, because this is a very complex process. Crime is a very complex, depending upon the knowledge and experience of the criminal, habitual or a professional criminal. So understanding that mindset by criminal profiling, we cannot do justice, and accordingly the team leader should be from that part. Suppose if a dead body is there at the crime scene, it is usually the forensic medicine expert who should lead the team, because legally only registered medical practitioners are authorized to touch the body or collect the biological evidence. Which type of scientific expertise will be needed, that depends upon case to case. And obviously in our Indian scenario, it is usually either SHO, station house officer, or the investigating officer which get the first information, and he has to decide which type of expertise they need at the crime scene investigation, so that valuable investigation may not be lost. Which type of expert may be needed to be consulted? This is the again duty of the IO or SHO. Are they aware of this expertise? If not, then again the purpose is lost. So crime scene investigation involves several stages, in which crime scene visitation is one of the most important, because this is the first step where most of the evidences are available, especially if it is a primary scene. Even if secondary scene, there are evidences available. There are many reports in the media where parts of body cut into different pieces and thrown at different places. So in such scenario, the primary scene is somewhere else, while the secondary scene are multiple, or maybe two or maybe three, depending upon where that criminal thrown those part or evidence to hide himself or herself from the criminal investigating agency. Usually, a police manual is there in each state which have these documentation. So, according to that police manual, immediately there is need for dispatch of the officer to the crime scene for inspecting it, preserving the evidence, preparing the site plan, etc., etc. And such inspection of crime scene should be done by a team, not only by the IO or the SHO. And who are these team members? Usually, there may be multiple people like forensic scientists, fingerprint expert, crime photographer, legal advisor, and not just a single IO as usually done. And how it is come to notice. I just recall one international national seminar conducted on forensic science on the topic use and application in investigation and prosecution held on 27 July 2002. We are in 2023, and it was the venue was Hyderabad Police Academy, and where committee has comprises of this judges, senior police officers, senior forensic scientists, medical jurists, and participate forensic scientists. And they lamented that their services were not being utilized for crime scene visitation, as a result of which valuable forensic evidence is being lost. So think about 2002 statement of expert now taken care in at least in 2022 or 2023 for mandatory forensic scene visit by the investigation team. In this contest, the committee recommended their opinion. The scene of crime must be visited by the investigating officer with utmost dispatch, means urgency. They should not be delay. More the delay, more the chances of contamination of crime scene as well as degradation of evidence. The most important case which I remember from Indian scenario related to crime scene manipulation is of Arusi's murder case of Noida, where one dentist, as per the judgment, they killed not only her daughter but two other persons whose bodies found after a sequence of events. And in the meanwhile, many persons entered the crime scene and they distort the whole crime scene evidence, and many evidences are degraded. Or there is comment in the judgment itself, there is dressing of crime scene, that means manipulation in the crime scene, and weapon was till investigation completed was not recovered, and this was done under the guidance of some of the known police officers of that family perpetrated criminals, and that is why this is the challenge for investigation officer and that whole team. He should accompany the photographer, and nowadays videography is compulsory, especially in crime. This custodial crime where, as per the National Human Rights Commission guidelines, video recording is compulsory, as well as Minnesota protocol consider it mandatory photography and videography. So this how this is lost evidences, because inmates of the house, they are not aware ki their movement, how that affect the evidences. Curious onlookers, however, get the information, they have curiosity, they visit the crime scene. If they are not prevented or protect scene is not protected, including VIP visits, that is a challenge for the crime scene investigation. Investigating officers should prepare a sketch and plan of the. Initially, they take help of patwari and or an expert. Expert is available in the form of civil engineer. They may help in preparing the actual plan with proper that measurement. So forensic scientists and fingerprint expert, they should again reach timely so that they collect the relevant evidence, and accordingly chain of custody they should be documented. It is not possible due to exigency of situation at many time, and because this crime can happen anytime. So the whole team should ready 24 into 7 of 365 days, and that means we need lot of manpower. Until unless we are not having enough manpower at the district level, we cannot achieve this target of 90% conviction. Is there need for experts? Yes, there is a need for expert, and every case is a unique in itself. Recently held murders, which are attracting the attention of the media and judiciary. Atiq Ahmed and Afzal, that murder case in the police custody in hospital premises, and Sanjeev Maheshwari murder in High Court premises, where crime scene was recorded by the videos that recorded by the press journalist. That is very important evidence. And again, a reconstruction of the whole scene help in getting many insight about the crime, planning, execution over the other persons controlling behind as a remote control. So this complexity is only understood by a expert of that particular field. If it is a dead body, related to dead body, obviously forensic medicine expert. If it is related to fingerprint, obviously forensic fingerprint expert, and photographer and videographer with high resolution, high technology, digital camera play a very important role. Not only that, coordination among these investigator, forensic expert, and prosecutor is very relevant. This recommendation of this integration was also made by the committee itself, and they said what are the stages where there is need for integration, and the first stage was crime scene level. Since time is very limited, I will skip many things. So these are the stages where we have to integrate or coordinate with each other, and obviously crime scene is the first one and most important. Usually the crime scene team involves a following person: forensic pathologist or doctor or forensic medicine expert. In Indian scenario, the term used is forensic medicine expert. Why I am using this terminology? Because recently High Court and Supreme Court has given direction to different government regarding histopathology examination of viscera. And since now I am in the state level headquarter, I found that a letter from different departments, home department, health department, that who will do the forensic, this histopathology examination. To your surprise, this letter moved to many medical colleges, including Medical College of the state capital of Premier Medical College, and where they have written forensic medicine doctor, they are not qualified to perform histopathology examination. This will be done by a forensic pathologist. And pathologist make comment, I am not a forensic pathologist, so I cannot do histopathology examination. This is the importance of understanding this terminology. In Indian scenario, because these experts or this medical education is governed by the Medical Council of India, erstwhile, and now National Medical Commission. And according to their nomenclature of degree, there is nowhere mentioned about the forensic pathologist. They mention forensic medicine expert or jurisprudence expert. So that is why understanding this meaning is important. Many confuse forensic science and forensic medicine. Both are different and their domain are different. Although generic term is forensic science, which also includes forensic medicine. Then forensic anthropologist, forensic archaeologist, entomologist, odontologist, forensic botanist, radiologist, recently emerging branch, ballistic and firearm expert, chemist and toxicologist. Again, toxicologist. Forensic medicine and toxicology is the whole syllabus and the designation. So obviously here also forensic medicine expert come into picture, whether they collect the sample after gastric aspiration or gastric lavage, their role cannot be neglected. So I will just give a brief model of the Delhi government, because it is not only the capital of the India, but it is well equipped in terms of resources. That means best trained manpower, police manpower, forensic science institutes, and forensic scientists, and many medical colleges having expertise of forensic medicine experts. Their full-fledged PG departments are working there. So recently, after 2022 recommendation of Ministry of Health, Home Affairs, that mandatory forensic scene investigation or visit by forensic team, there is a reaction, and standard operative procedure are coming into picture, in at least in Delhi. So understanding that model of SOP that can be replicated by others, all audience sitting in this international conference, they can use of this in your state. So what is that SOP? I will just give a brief background about that based upon the document which is available with me, and it is nothing but the a police circular released in 2022 with crime number 31, which has heading guidelines for compulsory forensic investigation in state of Delhi, where commissionary system of police is there, which is also now replicated in many district of the UP. Say, for example, Noida, in Lucknow itself, and many other metropolitan cities. So this is a two-page document which was circulated to all special commissioners of police, all the joint commissioners, additional commissioners of police, deputy commissioner of police, deputy commissioner of police in different areas is given special duties due to BIP movement, all assistant commissioner of police. So ACP is the most important thing in this whole SOP, because that is assigned the role of supervisor of crime scene investigation. Again, all station house officer and through them IOs, investigating officers. What is written in this document? The first thing is aims and objective. Until unless you are not clear about aims and objective, you again lost in investigation. So the ultimate aim was to increase the conviction rate on higher side and integrating the criminal justice system, forensic science investigation. These are the two basic objectives. And to use the forensic tools mandatorily where the punishment is more than 6 years. This document again mentioned 6 years, while the will mentioned more than 7 years or more than 7 years. There is a again technical problem with this duration. The standing order is meant for setting up guidelines for use of forensic tools in offenses attracting punishment, obviously more than 6 years till date in Delhi by the IO of Delhi Police. But if all these three bills are passed, become act, so that duration may enhance to 7 years. That means all the heinous crime are covered under this. Again, this SOP mentioned in point 2. What are the instructions for compulsory use of forensic? Delhi Police has its own mobile crime team van. That means there is a vehicle which is named mobile crime team van. Each district has this van. In addition to it, one more forensic mobile van has been allotted to each district for providing scientific and forensic assistance on the spot at crime scene to the IO whenever they need is arises. So again, you see the person who had to decide whose help is needed is the IO. That is why training and awareness among IO is very important. And SHO, his boss and supervisory officer in commissionary system is assistant commissioner of police. So their training and sensitization is very important. These vehicles are fully equipped as per claim with scientific tools and sufficient number of forensic assistants. Here, your avenues come into picture. Your demand is going to be increased with these recent advances. If there are 3 blocks covered by each district in UP, that means a lot of forensic scientists and forensic medicine experts needed at block level and district level in each van. So forensic mobile van shall not be under the administrative control of the police. This is very important development. because there is a conflict of interest, and as per the Supreme Court judgment in Prakash Singh case, there should be separate law and order wing and criminal justice investigation team, and that is why this administrative control given to the criminal justice team, so that there cannot be manipulation, pressure, or non-availability, but the time is for SHO or IO calling for help to visit the crime scene. Accordingly, there are different places like police station where there should be information available. This is including SOP, crime branches, special cells of special purpose, any other investigating agency of Delhi Police. They can call this forensic mobile van. Next, they have given instruction for optimal use of these forensic van. Again, since we are having very scarce resources, so until unless we are not making them optimum use or efficient use, there is a loss of resources, and again we cannot achieve target of 90% conviction. So for that achieving optimal use, what are the SOPs? Whenever any incident is reported and it appears to the SHO or the IO, then the offense with more than 6 years till date, which may be enhanced to 7 years, likely to be registered. That means the FIR is registered, usually at the police station. Certain forensic evidences are to be lifted. It is the decision of the SHO or IO, depending upon the case. And these evidences are maybe available at the scene of crime. Accordingly, he will summon the forensic mobile van and inform them this is the nature of the crime. This type of expertise is needed in forensic mobile van along with forensic team. IO shall deliver a formal request in the form of written request in charge of the forensic mobile van, whoever in that block or district, to reach and inspect the crime scene and lift the forensic evidences depending on the nature and their expertise, what are important, and they are available at the scene of crime. Next, SOP mentioned the in charge of the forensic mobile van. There must be somebody who is in charge of forensic mobile van, shall inspect the scene, lift the evidences. He will properly document all evidences. This is important from legal point of view. Here, the term comes chain of evidence. Origin till final disposal of that evidence is documented, need to be documented with the help of that team. That means every team member should be aware of this legal formality of packing, leveling, and sending or handing over to appropriate person. And that handing takeover should be documented. So if the forensic mobile van is taking all these exhibits with him for further examination and analysis, obviously this is done at the level of forensic science laboratory. IO should record all these statements of all these experts who are collecting those exhibit or trace evidence or biological evidence, and properly this mention found in the case diary available with the IO and ultimately with the police station. This is important because during prosecution or trial, court may ask these documents to rely on the credibility, or during cross-examination, opposite party may ask or to prove this as done in properly defined protocol. If after inspection and lifting of the exhibit, forensic mobile van team delivers to the IO, then IO shall accordingly make seizure memo. This is important. And seizure memo should include signature of all those present there. Here, there are certain persons which are called independent witnesses, which are usually respectable persons of the locality, which may be called punches, and panchnama should be there. Police, and then ultimately that should be stored in police station malkhana. Again, handing over and taking over should be part of that process. And finally, they are sent to the forensic science laboratory, either at the central level or at the state level within 2 to 3 days. Because this timing is very important. Because passage of time, the evidence lost value, they may be degraded, they may be putrefied. So their timely reaching to the forensic science laboratory is very important. Again, timely report to the IO and then to the prosecution is relevant to increase the conviction rate as per desired target of more than 90%. All such proceedings shall be recorded in the case diary. Again, I am emphasizing legal documentation is very important. Next point of SOP mentioned about the possible independent witnesses may also be called to join the proceeding of lifting of forensic evidence, and their statement under the Criminal Procedure Code under section 161 has to be recorded, and this is again a legal requirement, and again giving credibility of unbiased, non-manipulated evidence at the scene of crime by involving independent witnesses. Next point mentioned about the role of supervisory officer in implementation of mandatory visit of crime scene investigation. And this responsibility has been assigned in Delhi SOP to the Assistant Commissioner of Police and above. That means not only ACP, depending upon the case importance, if it is involving a BIP, obviously higher authorities come into picture so that manipulation or political pressure they can be minimized, or expertise added or credibility added, so that in a trial where that the prosecution is successful in proving the crime beyond reasonable doubt. If it is not beyond reasonable doubt, obviously benefit given to the perpetrated accused, and which is again bringing down conviction rate. So forensic science mobile ban, whether summoned or not at the scene of crime, this is the responsibility of supervising officer, which is usually at assistant commissioner of police or above and in rank. So I think I have covered within this time. These are the references from where I have taken this material. Thank you very much for giving me time.